This video is sponsored by LLL Parts. Lego. I'm gassed.
Guys, practically a one-man army, come on. Which is the M140 rear suspension complete assembly. I've also fitted the drive shaft. Almost, come on. Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to another episode from Salvage Nation. I hope you're enjoying this build. We're making great progress on the B58 swap for the 118i that I picked up from Copart for 1K. This car, I want this car to start. The reason I feel like that is in the last episode, I fitted the engine, I got really excited and it wouldn't turn. Come on. And you know what? Because I've done such major work on this car, I thought maybe I didn't connect an important wire or maybe I broke something. But you know what? I overlooked the easiest and most simple issue of them all. I had a flat battery. With all these different modules disconnected, it's draining the power from the car. So after hours and hours and hours of searching over everything, like I said, it was a dead battery. Let me connect the car to the booster, crank it because I want you to hear it. I heard it earlier on and yeah, I am happy, I am gassed. We got a ton of work to do today. I need to connect all the fueling system, get some fuel to the car, and then maybe I'll hook up the radiator and the cooling system if I can get the car to start. But one way or the other, this car is gonna start and run in this episode. Let's go. Okay guys, I'm at home looking for some parts for the build and I couldn't find the parts that I needed, and then I remembered today's sponsors, LLL Parts. Let me show you what I found.
So LLL Parts is an online parts store that stocks genuine OEM parts from some of the top brands across Europe like VW, Audi, BMW, Mercedes, Seat and Porsche. And as you can see here, they cover a wide variety of parts for all of those models. But for today, I'm looking for parts for the F20, F21 platform, and that's what I searched for. However, to narrow it down even more, I actually found the part number for the part that I was searching for, typed it into the search bar and have a look, it came up straight away. They also show you a diagram of where the part is going to fit so you can have no errors when you're making orders. A couple of days later, the parts were delivered down to the garage and I will be fitting these later on in the series and you're going to see how these perform. If you're doing a build or you're stuck for any parts for your vehicle, head on over to llparts.co.uk, use the discount code SN10 and you will receive 10% off their entire, I'll say it again, their entire catalogue. And this offer is exclusively for Salvage Nation subscribers, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, head on over there, make your purchase and make a saving. With all of that done, let's continue with the video.
Just a quick recap for the guys who are new to the channel. Episode 1, I showed you the base car, picked this up from Copart for £1,000. Plus fees, it came in very, very cheap. I was very happy. It's a very high spec BMW 118i. However, the engine was gone, so we dragged this engine, complete suspension, complete subframe out of the car, and I've also bought a breaker, and I've got the B58, complete suspension, everything. So we bolted it in. I went in on the interior, stripped out the inside, removed the old 118 loom, complete wiring loom, and I installed the M140 complete wiring loom. I also went ahead, facelifted the rear end of the car. We will be facelifting the front end as well. And then I installed the Shadow Edition dials as well as the 2018 SatNav, MBT Pro, everything with CarPlay, etc, etc, etc. And now that brings us to today. I'm going to connect this booster to the engine and I'm going to crank it. So guys, I've cranked it 3 times, but like I said, the fueling system is not connected, so the car is not going to start. So this is where we're going to start in today's episode. Switch that off. I need to save that power, so I've switched that one off. And what I'm going to be doing in today's episode is I'm going to be dropping this rear axle. I'll be installing this axle from the M140. Whilst I'm at it, I'll connect the fueling system because the fueling system on the 118i and the fueling system on the M140 is different. It's actually on different sides of the car. There's a lot of differences in it. So I need to drop everything on the rear, install the M140 bits, connect everything, and then I should be able to start this car and leave it running for just a little bit before installing the front rads and getting this car some coolant. Once it's got some coolant, I can leave it running for a bit and actually see how it's performing, see how it's running, test for any leaks,
test for any issues with the brakes. And guys, speaking of brakes, if I can get the car to start, run, etc, etc, I went ahead and picked up a brake bleeding kit. I need to bleed all the brakes because, as you saw in the previous episodes, I've changed all the brake pipes, all the brake lines, the ABS pump was changed, etc, etc. So there's a ton of work that's going to happen in this episode. Let's get started. So guys, I've already went ahead off camera and I removed these giant bolts for the rear subframe. All I need to do is, there's a few more bolts that holds the shock absorber onto the chassis, and then everything else should drop after that. So it's exciting times, mate. It's exciting times. Alrighty guys, so we're gonna tackle this rear axle, and like I said, here's the nuts, they're the two number 10s, there it is out. And then finally, this is the last nut that we're gonna remove, and this whole thing is just gonna drop. Have a look. So with that side completed, it's time to head over to the opposite side, complete the same process, and have a look. This is gonna drop as well. Now at this point, things are going well. I had to untangle the prop shaft from the rear brake cables, and I'll explain a little bit more about those cables later on, but there it is, the complete unit of the car. Guys, practically a one-man army, come on. Rear axle out of the car. Let me show you what I need to do. Alrighty guys, so have a look, complete rear axle with the rear diff, and this is the drive shaft that has been removed as well. And I want to show you how easy this is to remove. It's just 1, 2, 3, 4 giant long bolts. There's 2 other little bolts on that little bracket there. I'll zoom it in. That little bracket has got 2 bolts, and then after that it's just 1, 2, 3. You saw me remove these ones. The entire thing dropped. So guys, with all of this out, what I need to do now is, this is the brake system and fueling lines. The blue ones are the fueling lines. Obviously these are the brake for the rear brakes system, which came off the M140. As you can see, the way it's routed is on the left side of the car, but if you look on the 118 side, it's on the right side of the car right there, and they're very different. So what I need to do is, I'm going to drop this fuel cell. Now, because the pump is different, I'm a bit cautious, I'm a bit worried about what other differences they are. So instead of changing the fuel pump and etc, I'm just gonna drop this cell, and I'm gonna fit that cell right there from the 140. And as many of the tubings and pipings, I remember Akil was telling me just throw it, it's gonna be the same. But just as a precaution, I went ahead and I kept all of the tubings, all the pipings, and I made sure that I unclipped them properly so nothing is broken, nothing is damaged. So I just need to strip all of this area, fit the 140 bits, and then that's it. The car should be able to be started, and then I'll refit this bad boy, which is the M140 rear suspension complete assembly with the uprated diff, uprated brakes. Look at the size of these brake calipers, man. And one more thing I'm going to be doing is, just like I did on the front, I'm going to be swapping out these stock springs for some IBAC lowering springs, and then I'll be able to fit everything together as one complete unit. So that's the plan. I've spoken enough. Let's get to work. So guys, this fuel cell is held together first of all by 2 metal straps. Once the 2 metal straps are removed, there's a number 13 nut that then kind of holds everything in the center. Once I remove everything, the cell should be able to drop down. So I'll leave you to watch how I got on. So with the old fuel cell removed, it gave me access to the old brake pipes. I was able to remove them and lay the new M140 brake pipes and fuel lines. Now when I got to this section, I noticed 2 little things that's very minor, but it's still interesting. Check it out. Guys, I'm gonna pause right here to point out what I've been saying all along. Because this car doesn't utilize this cross body system, it's got this blocked off. So I've got to take that one off. So guys, they're basically some rubber caps that are hiding the connecting points for a different model of car. Once I removed those plastics, then I was able to lay the pipe in. Simple, but interesting. And with that said, I've now laid the new pipe in for all the brakes, as well as the fuel lines, and everything is looking as it should, OEM, exactly the way it looked on the M140. Check out the fuel cell from the 118i and the fuel cell from the M140. They look identical, but the inner workings are slightly different.
Guys, have a look at this. This is the M140 fuel cell. These are the M140 brake lines. These are the venting pipes and the filling pipe for the M140 fuel cell. Everything is in. And before I fit anything else, you know what? I think it's been long enough. I want to hear this car start. All I need to do is go back on the interior, plug that M140 fuel pump in, and if I crank the car, it should start, it should run. Let go! I'm gassed, I'm gassed, I'm gassed, I'm gassed, I'm gassed, I'm gassed. Come on. What's going on there? Oh, behave. Behave. Guys, this is what I've been working for. So right here is the top of that fuel cell. I need to make sure that that is all in. That is what provides, so this is the fuel pump that provides fuel to the engine. And where is it? Right here is, that's it, plug for the fuel pump. That's all in. All I need to do is crank her up. This is it. Come on. Almost, almost, come on, come on. I still think it's got a lack of power. I think the battery is so dead, I've got a lack of power. Let me give it an extra boost in the back. Slow down! Woo! 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 Woo!
I'm styling, and profiling, upside down.
Guys, come on, man. Listen. Oh my God, she lives. Take all of that off. Lights are working. She lives! Wow, come on! Sounds nice. I'm not going to keep it running too long. Actually, all I need to do is put this on and I can put some coolant in the system. Hold on.
Lay down.
So guys, do you remember those headlight modules that I got from LLL Parts? Now is the time to fit them onto the headlights, fit the headlights onto the car. Gassed!
Alrighty guys, so I filled the car up with water, the coolant system is all plugged in. This is the test, it's been running for about an hour actually. And as you saw, thanks to the guys from down at LLL Parts, I'm able to get my day running lights working. These are the lights that you saw on the previous build. I was able to smoke them out. I actually sent the stock lights to Barbados and I'll be keeping these ones. The car's been running for a while. There's no water leaks. I'm happy with everything that I'm seeing. So what I'm gonna do now is I wanna bleed the brakes, and to do that I need to install the rear axle. But guys, I am gassed, I am happy. But there's one issue. This light worked straight away and this one doesn't seem to be working. I've tried everything. Even the normal lights don't work, the day running lights don't work. So there must be some sort of a power issue going on, or maybe it's because one of the other modules is disconnected. So there's still a ton of stuff that I need to diagnose and actually check out and see what's going on. But for now, what I'm gonna do is jack the car up, and get that rear end sorted. And one more thing I need to do, check this out guys, jackpot. I have to siphon out, this is actually a full tank of petrol. So I need to find a way to siphon that out. I want to put that into some sort of a storage container, and then I can fill this car up. Because when this car hits the road, trust me, it's gonna be drinking like anything, because we got that 118 engine out of here, and we got that brand new to me B58 in the 118i, and it's running. Come on, you can't say, you know what, I'm not even saying anything. I'm gonna let my actions speak for me. Let go.
So guys, seeing that engine start for the first time, it's just giving me the added energy that I needed to push through with the build. And I'm swapping out the stock springs for the lowering springs from iBack. And then we're gonna get the entire unit onto the car. Like, come on, let's go. Now I'm using the transmission jack on a set of wheels to help me wheel it into place. Really and truly, this is a two-man job, but no one's around and I gotta do it myself. But got a bit sticky here, as you can see it's about to fall off, and I'm holding quite a lot of pressure on my hands. At this point I'm screaming, I'm absolutely screaming. Angus next door, he heard me, he came over, he gave me a hand. As soon as we were able to stabilize the unit, I gave him some instructions, and I was able to kind of rescue the situation and continue by getting this rear axle into place. Like, come on, that could have been a lot worse. And guys, you always have to maintain your safety when you're doing these sort of jobs. Oh man, that was a close one. Anyway, we keep it moving, and I went ahead and I buckled down all the nuts and bolts. Also went ahead and connected all the ABS sensors, connected all the brake pipes, got everything situated where it needs to be. And guys, I'm still gassed. I'm even gassed just watching this. I'm gassed recording this voiceover right now.
Alright, you guys, it's about 2 hours later, and I've done a lot. Let me show you. So, as you saw earlier, water is all good, the rads are all good. I'll be draining that water and I'll be adding coolant at a later date. Coming down, I've gone ahead and I've fitted the exhaust. I've also fitted the drive shaft, which is right there. That's all bolted down to the rear diff, which is also bolted down to the rear subframe. I went ahead and I plugged up everything, and you saw me torquing down these brake lines. So all 4 brake lines and all 4 corners are all done, and the car is coming together very, very nicely. I've loosely fitted the exhaust. I will be doing something to the exhaust, so I've just loosely fitted it. Everything is back together. The car is starting, it's running. I want to test the gears because, guys, this is important. Not only did I fit the B58, I also swapped out that manual gearbox for this 8-speed ZF gearbox from the M140. And I've programmed everything in, coded everything in, and the last thing I need to do is, if you see, that's the hole for the manual gearbox. That's where the linkages used to go in for the shifter, but I'll be plugging that with the BMW plug that I got from the 140, and I'll do that later on. But what I want to do now is start the car up one more time, stick it in drive, and I want to see if the wheels are going to spin at the rear, because yeah, that's the last major hurdle. Once those wheels are spinning, guys, I can pack up. Tomorrow morning I'm going to come back in, I'm going to bleed the brakes. Like I showed you, I've got a brake bleeding kit, so I'll bleed up all the brakes, get the brakes working, and I want to do a test fit on the wheels. I bought some wheel spacers to complement the lowering springs. When I did my M135i, it had the Motec stance package, and I really like the look of that car. It was quite low and it had the fatter wheels, and I want to recreate that look on this car. I know a lot of you guys got into the comments and said you want to keep it as a complete sleeper, put the original bumpers on and leave it looking completely stock. But if you remember, guys, those bumpers were damaged. The bumpers for the original 118 were damaged both on the front and on the rear. I'm not going to spend extra money buying other parts when I've got M140 parts, and to be fair, I want to keep it looking like an M140 because I like the look. I bought a ton of bits for my own M140 before I shipped it, and trust me, I want to see them. So that's a little clue as to the aesthetics of this build, but for now, let's get the car down, start it up, and I'm going to stick it in gear.
So guys, in this episode, we're making major progress on this build. If you're liking it, press the like button, keep it moving, let go. The car's started, we want to test to see if the gears are working, but first, have a listen to this. Of Got a little secret to tell you, but I'll tell you later on. I've installed on the car as a sponsorship. If you know, you know, but listen to how aggressive that sounds now.
Happy days, come on. Yeah. Guys, we got drive. Stick it in reverse. Happy days. So, that's the gearbox working, the engine working. Guys, come on, man. This episode, we're making some major moves. Everything is slotting together properly. And whenever we come up with any hurdles, we keep it moving and we find a solution. Now, I'm tired. I'll see you guys in the morning.
Alrighty guys, it's the next morning. Have you noticed anything different? Have you? Let me explain.
Alrighty guys, so it's the next morning here. I'm in bright and early, and I have to say, I am tired, like my entire body aches. I've done the majority of this work on this car thus far. 90% of it was done on my own. I asked Akil for a bit of help, but Akil's super busy. I asked Dean next door for a bit of help, but Dean's super busy. Yesterday, the rear axle, for you guys, you saw it super fast, but it almost fell off the trolley jack. And I was like, oh, then my hands were cramping all day. It's just, yeah, there was just a lot. So I had a nice, good night's sleep. I'm in today, and as you can see, I came in super early. I double checked all the fuses, and it looks like I must have nicked a tiny little fuse in the rear fuse box. I replaced that, and now this driver side headlight is working. Everything is ready to go. What I'm gonna do now is tidy up a bit. The place is a bit messy, tidy it all up, and then we're gonna bleed the brakes. And I'm gonna show you all the goodies that I've got from today's sponsors, which is LLL Parts. Don't forget, if you need any parts from them, click the link down below, check out their website. They have been super kind to me on this build, and I couldn't be here this far in this build without LLL Parts. So, got a lot of work today, let's continue. Alright so guys, now that things are a bit tidier and I've got a lot of space I can walk around the car, I've got some .4 brake fluid and I've got this brake bleeding kit. Let's get the car down, bleed the brakes, because I actually want to take the car off the ramp, and to do that I want to have brakes. So bleed the system. I'm going to be putting on the M140 alloys right there, and in those boxes I've got some stuff to add to the car. So let's get the system bled and then we'll continue. So guys, I've never used this system before. I normally bleed brakes the manual way, but I'm going to take the filter out. I watched the video on how to do it and I'm going to learn. What I'm going to start by doing is just topping up the reservoir with a bit of .4, spilling it everywhere. I'll wipe it up once I'm done. And then you don't want it to dry, you don't want it to go dry. So you have to fill this bottle up. That's going to sit in the top like so, and that's going to keep a steady feed of .4 fluid into the tank. And then I can go around the four wheels and bleed it. I'm going to look online to see the order in which I need to bleed them, get the system bled, and hopefully it will work. So let's fill this up. That should be more than enough for what we need. So that's going to trickle feed the tank. I can raise the car up now and bleed the brakes. Guys, a quick search online has told me I need to do it. Tell me if I'm right or tell me if this is right. But rear right first, rear left, front right, front left. So furthest away from the tank, and then you make your way forward to the closest to the tank. This is what I'm gonna follow. Let me know if that's correct. All right, so guys, let's see if this is gonna work. So here's the bleeding nipple, rear right. Loosen that up a bit. And then this one goes on the top. And I wanna see a nice, solid line of oil. So let's go.
So my little suction pump is working a treat, but in conjunction with that, I'm using my King Bolin K8 diagnostic reader to actually do the bleeding process over the diagnostic system, as well as what I'm doing here. Now, as you can see, the feeder bottle has gone all the way down, but if you look here, you can see all of those bubbles in the lines. That is the air in the braking system, and that's why when I press the brake, they're a bit soft, But the more I do it, the more air comes out, the more stiff or hard the brake pedal is gonna become. And that's what I'm looking for.
Guys, there you have it. In this episode, we have done a lot of work. Is it worth it? For me, it is. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. The next episode, I think we might be able to get a first drive. This episode has been long. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, press the like button. This is where we're gonna wrap this episode up. I'm gonna stay late, work into the next episode, but you're gonna have to stay tuned to see how we get on. Before I continue, guys, remember, if you need any OEM parts for your build, for your car, head on over to llparts.co.uk. Use discount code SN10. Don't forget, that's a little present from me to you. And in the next episode, I'm gonna be getting this car out. You're gonna see all the little goodies that we have. I'll give you a clue. A lot of the stuff that I bought from my old BMW is gonna go onto this car. I want all of my fancy stuff here on my daily driver, which this car is gonna be. But anyway, that's enough said. Stay tuned for the next episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed, subscribe to the channel, and this is where we're gonna head off. So like I always say, keep it moving. Guys, anytime you have a hurdle, obstacle, keep it moving. And I'll see you in the next one.
We love the Beamers, the Benz, the Porsches. All of my fans, I know they're supporting. Style with nothing but look at us now. Whoever supporting, I'm making you proud. Whoever supporting, I'm making you proud. Salvage Nation, look at the squad. We're up in the foreign line, look at the car. Look at the car.